On this episode of Hands on Cars, Kevin debuts the Zed Sled at the Holley LS Fest in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Well, we made it to LS Fest, got the Zed Sled unloaded, and guess what? It has been downpouring since the moment we unloaded this car off the trailer, but you know, that's okay. There's tons of people here. We've got a great turnout. The sled is here. It's finally a car. We actually drove it off the trailer, but it's a little bit soggy, so nobody's running the autocross, nobody's on the drag strip, but everybody's still here. So let's go check out some of the cars. Now, if you want a bit of a head start doing a project like Zed Sled, we got the holy grail here. This is a 70 Pro Touring F-body Camaro. This is it, man. Full Detroit speed suspension, forged line wheels, custom wheels. All the metal work is done. This is rust-free. 9-inch rear axle, 4-bar in the back. This has got the best of the best of the best. This is an awesome head start. I don't know what they're asking for it, but I'm going to find out. All right, so the track's drying off and the cool kids are coming out of the woodwork. Brian Finch is here with his second-gen Camaro. You guys know this car. We've done some ride-alongs with this car. We're going to talk to Brian about it tomorrow, maybe get some seat time in this sucker. This car is fast. Man, we got Larry Lilly here. He's got a beautiful, what year is it? 65 C-10 Pickup. Now this thing looks like it should be in a classic restoration show. The dead giveaway is the intercooler sitting behind the grill, and open the hood and you get the giant snail. Larry, this truck is beautiful in the first place. What made you kind of go a little bit of a left turn here and do this kind of modification?
Truthfully, I just want something cool and dependable to drive.
Yep.
That's what I was after.
So what's the displacement of the engine? A 6-liter, 5.3?
Just a 5.3.
5.3?
5.3.
What kind of numbers are you making? Have you dyno tested it?
Yeah, it's 618 to the rear wheels on the big boost.
Wow.
550 on low boost.
What's big boost? How many pounds?
17.
17. Well, I just saw you rip off an 11-second quarter mile in a almost 5,000-pound truck. That is quick. So you're a paint and body guy, right? Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing that?
Most of my life. I grew up in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grew up with Dad.
Well, it shows on the truck. It's straight, it's clean, it's slick. I love the steel wheels. I love the fact that you got the LS. You got that mid-ram intake manifold. You got the high-ram intake manifold. Yeah. Same as Zed Sled over there. Yeah. But it's just badass stuff. And, you know, what's your opinion of the Holley aftermarket stuff?
It's awesome. Can't beat it. Easy.
Yep.
Call the guys, they help you. Tech's great. Perfect.
Yeah. Enough said. Larry Lilly, beautiful 65 C-10 pickup. Thanks, man. Nice to talk to you.
I appreciate it.
LS Fest is not just about drag strips and autocross. The show and shine didn't disappoint either.
Now, if you come to LS Fest, you're going to find LS swap outs. This is an awesome deal. About $5,000. It's a 6-liter out of a GTO, and the best thing is they'll even load it for you. All right, you know that I'm a truck guy, you know that I'm an LS guy. We built one of these on the show a while ago, and the interesting thing about this truck is that you got tons of clearance, and we had to scrap the original plastic intake manifold for the LS swap in the Zed Sled, but this guy doesn't have to. He can keep the OE manifold. This is a very budget-friendly swap and a very cool truck. And all of that on 8-inch tires. Traction, not gonna happen.
This is also an Optima qualifying event, so like we said, all the heavy hitters are out in force, getting their points and beating their cars mercilessly in the process, including this late model Z06 that seems to have an appetite for cones.
One of the coolest things about LS Fest is the CarCraft Engine Swap Challenge. This year they've got 2 C10s, they're short bed trucks, nice looking trucks, and the winner that gets the engine done first, does a lap around the facility, gets to keep the engine. The loser, I don't know, maybe they're gonna put their old junk back in, but we're gonna come back and check them out mid-thrash. Now, as well as the engine swap challenge that happens every year at LS Fest, this is something new. This is the grudge match. 2 high school tech teams have been given an F-body Camaro, some sponsorship, mainly by Holley and a bunch of other manufacturers, and they get to build a car. In 2016 LS Fest, these cars are going to be put head-to-head. Whoever comes out with the most well-rounded car with the most points, well, they win the contest, and a whole lot of awesome knowledge that they've acquired about hot rodding. The interesting thing is that each team is given a $25,000 budget to finish their car. And that's just about exactly what we're gonna have in Zed Sled when it's all said and done. So we're on the same page. You can do it. You can have a cool car starting off with a POS F-body. It can happen.
There's tons of sights to see, and we're proud that Zed Sled was one of them. Lots of people were asking about it and have followed the build along with hands-on cars. It was good to see a younger crowd here as well.
All right, day 2 here at LS Fest in front of Holley Performance Products. It's dry. They're calling for a 60% chance of rain, but right now everything's dry. People are rocking the autocross course and the drag strip is dry, so we're gonna go check out some launches.
Beech Bend Raceway Park is a great drag strip and has been for decades, and it's also home for NHRA's annual Hot Rod Reunion. But that didn't scare off the late model guys who were mixed in with the classics and the trucks. Even a few crossbred LS Swap Fords just to shake things up.
Now that's not something that you see every day. A bright yellow Grand National, kind of a rare car. Does a pretty good burnout, but he needs some elasti wrap on the bottoms of the quarter panels. Look at the marbles on his quarters. Wow. On top of a rare car, he just ripped off an 8.4 second quarter mile. And I don't know if you caught it, but there was about this much daylight under the front tires. That is quick and fast. This one you've had your hands on, isn't it?
Yep, that's a LS connecting cruise from General Motors.
The 67 wagon is not your typical pro touring car, but this thing is clean as a pin, man.
Yeah, and this motor's about 430 horsepower is what they rated at when you get it.
Yeah.
When we dynoed this at DBR, it twisted the drive shaft in two.
So that's a little more than 430,
yeah,
right?
It was a brand new drive shaft, so I don't know what happened, but right in the dead center of it, it twisted it right in two. So.
Yeah, but you know, this thing probably cruises down the highway just effortlessly, and when you put your foot in it, I'm sure it's fun, right?
Yeah, and the power band's so long. We took a big block out of this car, 454, and this one will run circles around it because the power band is just so long.
Well, not to mention the amount of weight. You probably lost 120 pounds out of the front end of this thing by swapping from that big block, right?
Yep, and in the install, we tried to make it look as clean and as natural as possible inside here. So
even back to the seam sealer line on the back of the firewall, which that's how they were. That's what they looked like.
And we hid the computer up under there. And then inside, we've got a park brake light, turn signals. We did all the interior back factory as possible, so everything works just like it did in 67.
And I'm noticing a drive-by wire throttle. So there's no throttle cables, and it's just clean, man. It's so clean it looks like it's not finished.
And it's fast as hell.
Tell me about the gauges.
Well, I took plastic instruments. I called them, and they sent me gauges without the framing. And then I took this plate out, welded it up, and installed the gauges in behind it. And then where all the weld chatter and mark was, I got with Steve at Heat Shield, and that's some of their new vinyl, heat shrinks vinyl. And give it that factory look. I put him a check engine gauge in his tack, parking brake light in here, so you leave the parking brake light on, and tried to make it look factory as possible.
That's awesome, man. Nice job.
Thank you. It's a lot of work. I've had that dash in out there about 10 times.
Never a dull moment with stuff happening all around us. You'd have to be 2 or 3 guys to see it all. We decided to check out the drifting events, which includes entry-level drivers who are just cutting their teeth and learning car control, as well as a few pro drivers. The speed these guys use is incredible, and it's amazing how they can hang on to a line on a totally flat track.
Drifting may not be your thing, but you cannot argue the car control that these guys have. They are drivers, man. They are throwing these cars around. They're high horsepower. Look at that. They are at the living edge of control. This is awesome stuff. Now these cars are multiple platforms. There's things cross up all over the place. This is a single turbo, 1100 horsepower, 240 SX with American V8. This guy is a serious driver. His car control is incredible. There's a bunch of different stages of drift drivers here, and it's very complex the way they judge the points. They actually have to touch the wall at a certain revolution, and they're doing it with inches to spare. It's cool.
Hands on Cars is brought to you by the Eastwood Company. When you're restoring a car, truck, or motorcycle, Eastwood has everything you need to do the job right. Eastwood, since 1978.
TC's been a huge help with Zed Sled, as always, but there's a truck I wanted him to see. This is right up his alley. This is Bay One Customs right here. Look at that snail.
Oh boy, I love that.
Yep.
LS motor, same intake you got.
Yep, absolutely. The higher runner, lower intake manifold, but this is a 65 C-10 pickup. We watched this guy do a real team, very even launch, and you know what that means. You've drag raced a lot. And he ripped off an 11.1 with this truck, just right out of the gate. Half track, he's on it, man.
Well, my hat's off to him to get it hooked up to go that fast in a pickup truck. It's hard to get them to hook up like that.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a good looking truck.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is one of like 1,000 beautiful vehicles here. These are steel wheels, drag radials. It's awesome.
So now, what's this about his battery box? He made it out of a cooler?
Yeah, check this out.
He was painted the same color. Oh yeah, that's sweet.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Now this guy's a paint and body guy. He's got a body shop, and you know it's just his hobby. Lilly's Auto Care.
Stickers there.
Yeah. How's your truck coming?
It's coming along good. We got a lot to do. I'm having some issues with the glass, and it's always down to the wire and giving the vendors and the people.
Always.
We're down to, what, 47 days, I think it is, to have it at Vegas.
Well, last time I was there, you were spraying Eastwood epoxy on it and getting ready for high build primer. How is that stuff working out for you?
Oh, it's outstanding. Let me tell you, when you get that Eastwood epoxy on there and then they put their new ceramic paint they've got, I love that paint. It goes on so nice. I've done the trailing arms in the silver. I've done the frame in the black. I'm even thinking about doing the bumper in the ceramic silver as well. Maybe take their flat clear and then flatten it off, but we'll just see how it goes. But that stuff's so easy to play with. You can mix and match it. And,
I know.
I love it.
And it works good. What I like about it most is that it's so consistent. It does the same thing every single time you spray it. So.
Yep, that's sweet. And that I've been using a lot of their Contours filler.
Yep.
Smooth as glass. I like the way it lays out. I can lay it out and it actually levels a little bit for a second if the humidity's right. And what a sweet product that is.
Cool. Well, I knew it would work out for you. I can't wait for you guys to see TC's truck out at SEMA Show. It's always good to see you. Thanks for all your help, as always, bailing my butt out again on Zed Sled. But I can't wait to see what you got coming down the pike.
Yep. I hope it's going to be big. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's go to the drag strip.
All right, let's go.
Okay, the two teams have got the engines in. They're about 10 minutes apart on the installation, but that doesn't tell the whole story. They got to put these things together, then they got to drive them around. Nobody can have any problems. That's the real test. Does it work?
Not everything was four-wheeled high performance, and some vehicles just might have been powered by beer.
Yeah, but does it have an LS in it?
Another truck we've been keeping our eyes on is country star James Otto's 66 C-10, named For Pete's Sake, which is covered in Eastwood products and sporting a new Eastwood color. We'll come back to this truck in a little bit.
So most times, most days, my job doesn't suck. This is one of those days. I'm riding along in the 48-hour Camaro with Bret Voelkel. We're getting ready to go and thrash this thing on the autocross course, and you get to ride with me. What kind of times are guys running?
Danny's running in the 31s. The rest of us are in the 32s and 33s.
Right.
The fast guys that backed up from that.
You're talking about Danny Pop, right? Yeah.
30 seconds may not seem like that long, but trust me, it's a thrill ride, especially with somebody like Bret Voelkel driving, who's logged hundreds of autocross sessions and thoroughly tests his RideTech suspension systems out, perfecting the products that they manufacture and sell. This 48-hour Camaro got its name by being built in 48 hours straight at RideTech headquarters and has been severely punished ever since on tracks like this and long-haul drives all over the country.
That was the end of the boat. What'd you run? 33.8. We are rocking, man. That was awesome. Thanks, Bret Voelkel. Thanks, RideTech. Woohoo! Well, cool, man. It's nice to know this car is as well sorted as everyone says it is, and that it looks.
Yeah, you know, I've got thousands of laps in this car, and it just keeps getting a little better and a little better and a little better. And I really like this track. The car likes the track. You know, I'm trying to get in the top 5 shootout. I'm the 7th right now, so I got to make something happen here in the next couple of runs. Or I'll be leaning on the fence.
Well, I'll light it up about 160 pounds.
We'll try that.
Thanks, Bret.
All right, thanks, man.
See you. Now that was freaking incredible. I got busted for holding a GoPro camera, so I'm technically an outlaw, but I got to ride in this car. This is the 48-hour Camaro. This thing is so sorted and so solid, not to mention that Bret Voelkel can flat out wheel a car. That was exhilarating. I don't need any more coffee for another week.
Brian Finch was here doing his thing as well in his '73 Camaro, and coincidentally, Brian also had a hand in James Otto's truck. We caught up with James between ride-alongs, and he sat down with us to chat about his build progress.
Well, LS Fest, man, we just caught up with James Otto. It's good to catch up with you. It's good to finally see this truck.
Man.
For Pete's sake, you guys have come a long way in a short time, dude.
Well, I think we talked about a week ago, and you were like, yeah, I thought it might be farther along by now.
And I'm sorry to even say that out loud, knowing what the situation I was in with the Zed Sled. Dude, we're kindred spirits on that level, but you got to keep pushing, right?
We did, you know, and we did 5 days straight of thrash.
Yeah, and you did a 24-hour stint with the paint job.
We did 24 hours straight. We did, and got 4 hours sleep and came right back into 20 again. And it was about wanting to come here and give everybody the vision of the truck that I wanted to have. At least you get to see where we're headed. The theme is already there. It's already in place. And if you go over there and you look at in the pits of all of the pro touring guys, you know, it's right in that vibe that we set out to benchmark to make. So I feel like we're on track. It's a lot of work ahead of us.
But you know, it's a truck. It's front engine, rear drive. Trucks are coming up in the autocross world, in the pro touring world, and the spin that you're taking on this thing, I got to say, I know that you're emotionally tied to this vehicle because of the family tie, and I'm the same way. I've got a 66 C10 long bed, and I will never cut it up, but you are doing such awesome stuff with this thing. The body mods, the suspension, the LS, the Holley stuff. I just want to congratulate you, man, for having the bravery to go forward with it.
Thanks. You know, what gave me that peace of mind to cut it and to do things with it was my grandfather told me the day that I pulled it out of the barn he said, I want you to do whatever you want to do with it. And my first thought was I wanted to leave it pretty stock and drive it.
To honor him.
Right. Yeah. And then the reality set in of living with that 3 on the tree every day and living in Nashville and like, okay, I can't get up to 70 mile an hour. I'm going to blow this truck to pieces. The motor's going to blow. And so the reality set in that, okay, we're going to have to modify it. And once we decided, we were here at LS Fest last year, and we sat and go, you know what we need to do is drop an LS in it. We had located one the next day, pulled it out, and in a year, literally a year to the day, we're sitting here with this. We went from a stock truck to this, which is anything but.
It's anything but. It's got a badass platform, RideTech suspension.
Absolutely.
You know, and you've got
Holley everything.
Holley everything.
I mean, Classic Instruments has made the most beautiful gauges for this truck.
Well,
we got the Forge Line wheels
Forge Line wheels, Eastwood coatings, Pete's sake pearl.
Absolutely.
We named a new color after this truck.
Take a look at that pearl too. It's beautiful.
Dude, I love it. And in the sun, it just glows and pops, and the flat clear. So
I'm so happy.
Well, you should be, and you've come a long way, and I can't wait to see it finished. But I wanted to also ask you, as busy as you are with your music career, you've signed a new record deal, and congrats for that. You've got a new single coming out that you're pushing. You're doing radio tours. How do you find the time to do this and do everything else and engage the family and all that stuff?
Honestly, it's hard. It's hard to find a balance. Family's first, work is a second, but this is what I love most outside of my family and my work is cars, and especially something like this that I grew up learning how to drive in this truck. You know, my grandfather taught me how to shift 3 on the tree. So to be able to build that, to honor him, the truck's called For Pete's Sake. You know, it's awesome. It's such a wonderful thing to be able to do.
Well, it's neat that you can tie everything together. And it's a pleasure to be a part of it in some small way, man.
You've been a huge part of it, Kevin, and you know what? Since we started this thing, you didn't know me from Adam, and you have been so kind to help me and help direct me and introduce me to people, and I want to say thank you for that.
Well, it's not because I want to be your buddy or I want to be your friend. The passion in you for this, for what you do, never mind that we're kind of kindred spirits. I used to be a rock and roll guy,
man.
but the passion
Look
that
it up,
exudes.
everybody. Go on the internet and find the videos of him singing. It's
Nova Rex,
awesome.
1987. Anyways, it's not about me. I'm trying to say that the passion that comes from your pores for this stuff and for life in general, it's just nice to be a part of, man. It's nice to be in your shadow, dude.
Thank you. I love this. This is a passion of mine. To be able to do them both, to be able to come to LS Fest, set up a stage, and play for all these guys, it literally is melding my favorite things in life. So,
yeah. Well, how great to be us, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Absolutely.
James Otto, for Pete's sake. LS Fest 2015 is a massive success. There's people everywhere. This place is on fire with high performance. Big thanks to Holley Performance Products for helping us out with the Zed Sled. Great products. I cannot wait to drive the car. Until next time, you're watching Hands on Cars. I'm Kevin Tetz, and this is why we do what we do.